Hello YouTube, welcome to Sunday in the shop. Had to take a deep breath. It is still cold in here. It is 70 degrees over on the wall by the stove, but it's only like 45 behind me, so we're warming it up. We're going to reprofile this axe. I don't know how good this will show up. We took the grinder flapper disc. Don't worry, this thing's ice cold. It was only like 25 degrees in the shop when I came out here. So it's some cold steel. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, here's the edge that comes on it. Even though we've refined it and sharpened it. See how this is just such a sharp, it's just so hard to tell you. It made that a little bit. It's just, when I go to split wood, it takes too much effort. I don't have the muscle I had when I was younger. It takes too much effort. It wants to stick. It's hard to split even that maple wood, which should split pretty good, even though it's a hardwood. It is a straight grain. It should not want to stick right there, and I have to hit it 2 or 3 times to get it to start to split. That's why we're going to taper this back. In other words, the way to show this way, it's going to be more of a, when it comes down here, because I know it's so hard to show the edge. I have tried that before. So we want to give you the idea of what we're doing here. So it's more of a thinner and thinner and thinner, because when you get like here, it goes down, it's like, boop, has to drop off. Well, that's got to be gone. We watched a few videos. I know there's not a lot of experts out there on YouTube, and I'm not an expert. But I watched someone who done this with a file, and I know his channel real well. So I know he knows what he's doing. He went out and split and showed the difference, what he likes. And it was on a smaller hatchet, which this doesn't weigh a lot, this axe. It's 2 1/4 pounds. So that's what we're going to do. Enough yakking, and then we'll come back. We'll tell you how we sanded this wood down and stuff later on. So we don't know what all is going to be included in here. So stay tuned. We'll just bring it back when this is all done. We wanted you to see it before. And we will be using our file, you know, once we get going. And I know the other day I mentioned in one video, I draw a file, which is taking your file like this. If you practice that, it saves a lot of time doing this. Is you're pulling the file along here, and it removes a lot of metal. We don't have a file laying out here, but we'll show you when we get done how we use the file. So stay tuned. Okay, we're going to attempt to show this so you know what we're talking about. Okay, you know a file normally goes this way, but if you get your file at the right angle, see that? You see the shavings? And I'm not going past here, and I'm not even hitting the sharp edge. I took the sander disc all the way down here and never touched that edge. So what we're doing is, just by feel, we're making this all flat. So it kind of goes, it's just like it's a wider flat. It don't drop off so much. So, not to yak too much, but it is a Sunday video. Can you see the shavings that's coming off there? It sure beats doing this, because you got to go this way and this way, which I will. But to take a lot of metal off, it's the same as using a draw knife on wood or a spoke shaver or something. Now, I got to take some more off here. I mean, I have that habit. I get it nice here and get it here. So I'm going to have to go back and actually file it. So you get the idea. You can use a file and draw just like a draw knife. Now, one side's better than the other. This file's been used. Hardly touched it. And this is hard steel, but this is probably the best side of the file. So there you go. We'll bring you back when we're all done. Okay, we're done with this except for some final thing. I'm not going to sharpen it like a knife. But when I get down to the final, I'm going this way. I'm not doing the draw knife. I'm going like this in an X pattern. I don't really go up along the edge like people do, because I tend to know I just take the edge off. So I'm bringing it out to an edge. And then I can always come back. If I've used my little diamond file, I may go against the edge. But this side needs a little more work. You can probably tell by the scratches. And remember, with a good file, the lighter the touch you give it, the more polish you get. This is no sandpaper or nothing on there. That is just the file polishing it, going real slow. You'll see it though, you'll see the marks. But, for an axe, I mean, I may polish it. I have different sandpapers. I may go along and actually polish it to make it look nice. But we have taken some more sandpaper to this in the past few days. We even tried 1,000 grit and stuff. We may put some of that bluing stuff on it. But, like I said, if we keep it oiled, it's not going to rust. I had the paracord on here. I decided to put electrical tape. Because this is so wide. So much wider that handle is. It's actually too wide for this head. This is like it's made for a big giant angle. You see what I mean? So that's where you're going to catch if you overdo your wood. You know, if you overshoot a big piece of wood, this is where you're going to hit all the time. Or you're going to miss it here. So I like 3 or 4 wraps of electrical tape. And it comes off. And when you take it off, you can take the glue off and reel out. You're not hurting the wood or anything. It just makes a gooey, sticky mess. So on with something else. We're going to take a break. We don't know when we'll come back and finish this video. It could be the next day or something. We're just blowing out the camera again. So stay tuned for something else, which this will be part of it too. I'll tell you how I did it on my belt sander and what this wood's off of. So hang in there. We'll get there. Okay, we took a little break and we're back. This is off a coffee table that was made by stacking these like a breadboard. Walnut, maple, you know what I mean? It was pretty big. It was probably about 2.5 feet by not quite 1.5 feet wide. I got it on a junk day. I even talked to the man who threw it away. He made it in shop class when he was a kid. He put it on the edge of the dumpster and hoping that somebody might want it. But I had my barbecue on it for years. Past few years it's been out in front of my shop. You've probably seen it in a video of me having a tire or something leaning against the shop. This is what this stuff looked like. And here's one of the really bad ones. This would have been the edge, of course, like maybe the top. But it was glued together with the dowels. And I had to put my machete between the gaps and pound down like this to chop through those. Because if you tried going from the top, like you were splitting wood, it just bust them all out. So I had to lay it down on the floor here in the shop and beat the you-know-what out of it. But you can see that a lot of that's glue. And I had to scrape that off with a knife. So it took a lot of work. And I only saved a few of these pieces. I probably only saved about 2 feet of each kind. And that was it. So enough of this junky one. That might go in the kindling. We put on our belt sander. And what we did is, our belt sander, say this is the fence, right? The belt sander. We'd go this way to do this edge, and it wasn't doing very good because that's only 4-inch wide belt, and that thing humps up in the middle. So I couldn't get a good edge that way. So I ended up going like this, and the same way with this. I'd take this across, then I'd make all them scratches this way. So I'd put it like this. And I'd put it on either side. I want to move it side to side. Don't do that. You just create more scratches. I'd put it like here, and I'd pick it up here, and then I'd end for end. So this is nice, I got it. I could put some rubbing alcohol on here and it'll show up darker, but this walnut's really nice. It is 3/4 wide by 1.5 inches. Well, I want to use this for a knife scale someday. And it's very hard to saw this stuff in half. So the side that I'd saw in half would be the fresh part that you'd see. This would be glued. So this would be really roughed up. This would probably be roughed up with the roughest paper I have to get the epoxy to stick to it. So inside of here, which is going to be a nicer wood, would be what you'd see. And the only way I've learned how to do it is I have my Japanese back saw, which the blade is about this long. These are about 10 inches. Is I saw a slide exactly in the middle, down the edge, and then I'd put my saw in here at an angle. Say this is a saw blade. I'd saw like this, not stand it up. I'd have it in the vise like this and saw at an angle. And watch this line, and once in a while look underneath here. It doesn't have to be perfect, because my knife scale is usually only about 1/4 inch wide. So that leaves you an 1/8 to mess up, okay, to shape. But from now on, if we do any more knife scales, we'll buy some wood or something. We just had to save a little bit of this, because this maple may look kind of scummy and nasty, but when you're done with it, if I get it in the light just right, it will be nice and white like this, with whatever faint grain you can see. You really can't see much grain. Down here you can. You don't see a lot of grain in this till you oil it. We will take some rubbing alcohol. We got enough time. It's Sunday in the Shop video. I always forget that. I don't like making real long videos. I've noticed that my views haven't really went down. My comments have went down going into this fall. See, that brings it a little bit. This really is nice. You can see why I saved some of this. This is really nice walnut. And it would only be linseed oil on it too. So you can see how nice that looks. Oil is going to look about that nice. But I used just 80 grit paper on 4-inch sander, which you've all seen it who subscribed to me, the Harbor Freight El Cheapo thing. I mean, it's not nothing to brag about, but it gets the job done for what I do. That way I can use it for metal. I'm not a woodworker. But like I said, this was the hardest edge to try to keep straight. You couldn't go along there with the fence thing here. I mean, I end up going like this across the paper, and I end up just laying it down like this. And kind of wobbling a little bit. Because I could not get this square. If you put a straight edge on here, you're going to see gaps in it. If you put a straight edge on there and look through with the light, which there's no light behind me, you're going to see light through there. And this does have a twist in one of the ends. One end, which you can almost see where it would never hit the sander right, is down here. So it had a little bit of a twist. Because it's laid around a warp. Okay, enough of that subject. We beat that to death. We'll come back for one little more thing, and I think that'll be it for this week. We don't want to make these too long. I noticed some of them have been over 15 minutes long, but I know a lot of people do enjoy watching it on Sunday. And it's commercial free, so hang in there. We'll come back with some other small thing. Well, we're running out of ideas. This had gum in it. I cannot tell you the brand. I have several of these. One of my wife's favorite type of gum. Isn't that nice for sandpaper? I mean, I just had to show this. I mean, there's all kinds of pieces in there. There's that heavy duty, the 80 grit sanding belt off my belt sander I sacrificed. It's in here. You can tell by the arrows on it. See that? 500, 600, 1100, 1200. Of course, I have pieces I use. If they're used, I ain't putting them in there. I mean, they'll just throw it wherever. But it's a nice little case. Just put your sandpaper in. So I thought I'd add that. You'll see it in the stores. I cannot tell you the brand name of the gum. I have no idea. I just know it's a nice little case. Kind of reminds me of the old school. If anybody remembers what a cassette tape is, kind of reminds me of a cassette tape cover, which I've used to put stuff in to make for a kit. So that's it. We bored you to death, I think. So thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you next week.